Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It is bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, I could say this one thing about myself in these videos is that I think if I were more negative, if I came on here and said, oh, I'm one of these guys, things were better back in the 70s and 80s and things are so terrible now and kids today couldn't survive back then and kids just want their tuition free and back then we didn't wear seatbelts or helmets and we smoked Marlboros and yada yada, and if I just came on here and I was all negative and talked about alcohol and other stuff, I guarantee I'd get a lot of views. I guarantee it. That's one thing I've noticed. If you look on YouTube, if you just look on YouTube, the guys that are coming out here and just with a lot of negative stuff are getting a lot of views. And I can't do that. I got to be who I am. Even if I know a video is only going to get 30 views, as opposed to if I came out here and said, oh, you know what? If I came out into this video and said, you know what, I agree with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, America's too divided. I can't, the woke and cancel culture, I can't get into it. I guarantee you, if I did the title right, I'd get a couple thousand views, and this video, probably 30 views. I got to be who I am. I got to speak my mind, and that's what I'm going to do in this video. I came across this article about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I got to admit, back when I got clean and sober 17 and a half years ago, Dwayne, it's kind of corny to say this, but he was an idol and a mentor for me. The way he fashioned his day. Him and Mark Wahlberg. The way they both get up so early and their workout and their work ethic. And back in 2020, Dwayne Johnson endorsed Joe Biden. Can't say the same about Mark Wahlberg. I've always liked The Rock. And I think his latest move, he had an interview on Fox News. I'll have the link right down below. And I honestly, I think he's a wuss. I do, for what he said in this interview. He says that back in 2020 in this interview down below, it's on Fox News. He does an interview on Fox News, and it starts off with, I think they're doing shots in this interview, and that's another thing where I thought Mark Wahlberg and Johnson both were healthy, into health food and not no alcohol, which is the way I live. And I just watched this. I watched The Rock on Fox News, drinking alcohol, talking about how he's not going to endorse Joe Biden because he doesn't like the way the country's going. And this is what he said. And I really just think he's a wuss. He says he doesn't like all the division in the country. He wants a country where everybody comes together. And back in 2020, it was very divisive when he supported Joe Biden. In translation to me, is he's going to lose some money. He's going to lose some box office money. He's going to lose some fans. So he's wussing out. You know what came to my mind? The first thing that came to my mind is the quote: all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And that's what I see in Dwayne Johnson right now. He didn't pick Trump. He's not saying he endorses Trump. He's not saying he endorses Biden. But he says he doesn't like the country being divisive with cancel culture and wokeism, and that's, I can't believe he brought up the woke thing. To me, I don't think the right can even tell you what wokeism is. I admit I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat. Woke, no, I think I'm just a good guy, a good, empathetic, compassionate dude. Am I woke? No. I don't even know what woke is. All right. So this links up to my video. Again, the TikTok video I did. And stick with me on this. The Joe Biden, the dark branded video, where I say, how I talk about Joe Biden. And I took a lot of flack for that on TikTok. Here on YouTube, I didn't get a lot of views. I'll have the link for the video right down below. And I just did a video like 2 days ago, if you go back, about all the MAGA Trump supporters jumping all over me and all their comments. And I knew that was going to happen. And there's a reason I did that. I started thinking about, I saw articles, I'll put the articles down below, where Joe Biden is doing better in swing states. He's ahead in 6 swing states. I just saw that in different, like 6 different articles. No, not left-wing media, not right-wing media, just the media. How Joe Biden is ahead in polls in the swing states. And I started thinking about that. And the way that Trump supporters are so vocal and kind of cult-like and nuts. And I look at the people that, there's millions of people that do support Joe Biden, but they're normal people. Their life is normal. They have their work, their family, their hobbies, their friends. Politics is part of that. Music is part of that. It's an evenly normal, divided life. Trump supporters, it's a cult. It's not about America. You can't tell me it's about America. If it was about America, this would be about an idea. Like they say it's about MAGA, but it's all about Donald Trump and defending Donald Trump regardless of anything he does. If it were about an idea, there would be other politicians they would support. They don't support anybody unless Donald Trump gives them his okay, his nod. And the only way he gives them his nod is if they kiss his ring. It's a freaking cult. So I started thinking about this. I was like, I should be vocal. I should have the guts to say that I'm voting for Joe Biden. I like Joe Biden. And this is another thing I noticed. I wanted to get under Trump supporters' skin. I did. And I thought about this. What gets under my skin? What drives me crazy is when I see people saying they're going to vote for Donald Trump. And I'm like, how can you listen to this guy talk? Listen to what he's saying. Look at him, the dancing. And how can you possibly support this lunatic? So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be vocal about who I support. I was like, I wonder if that would get under their skin. So I did this video, the Dark Brandon video. And I don't think it was mean. I talked about Joe Biden beating evil, driving evil from the White House, sending Donald Trump back to Florida crying. And that was the worst thing I said in that video. It wasn't hardcore. It wasn't, slamming on Donald Trump. It was supporting Joe Biden. And I wanted to do that. And my idea was if I go out and I take, and I knew I was going to take a beating, but that doesn't bother me. I wanted to encourage more people to say, yeah, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. I wanted to get some more support going. And I wanted to be the start of that. That was the idea behind that video. And I knew that it probably wasn't going to get a lot of views. I knew that I'd take a beating on it. Here on YouTube, I've gotten 14 views. On TikTok, I've gotten like over 1,600 views. Okay, now here's the thing too. On TikTok, initially, the Trump supporters rushed in and just beat on me. I'll have the link right down below so you can see what I'm saying. And usually I could tell if people hate the video or like the video, because if they hate it, there's going to be a lot more comments than there is likes or hearts on TikTok. And when I first looked at this one day in, there was 1,500 views, and TikTok congratulated me for getting 1,500 views in the first day. And, there was 35 comments and only 5 hearts, and one of them was mine, in the first 1,500 views. So I took a beating that first day. But here's what happened. The hearts caught up. I think I got almost 50 hearts now, and I got people coming out. So it took time, but people came out, and now the hearts, the likes are actually beating the comments. So it actually did work. It just took a little time for the Biden supporters, the people that agree with me, to have the guts to come forward and say, and in the interim, I took a beating. I'm still taking a beating. It's tough for me to read those comments talking about how I look like Johnny Bravo, or I must be still using, or recovery didn't take, and all this other stuff. And I'm okay with that. I got a thick skin. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And I do believe I'm a good man. And I wish Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was, but I think he's a freaking wuss. And he's just afraid of losing some box office money and some fans, going on Fox News and drinking and talking about wokeism. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a wuss. All right, I'll be back later. I got to talk about the earthquake, man. I didn't feel it. I felt nothing. So let's see what I'm going to talk about. That's coming up next. I'll see you shortly. Have a good Saturday.